If you've been thinking about getting you a serger and you're not sure if you need one or you're not sure where to start, this video is for you. The machine that we'll be going over today is the Brother 1034D, but before we jump into learning how to use it, let me go ahead and set the record straight, okay? You cannot use a serger in place of a sewing machine. If you have a serger, if you go and purchase a serger, understand you will need a sewing machine as well. They are not interchangeable. The serger serves as a helper to give your garments, your seams, and your hems a professional look. That is the job of a serger. It is not to do all your basic sewing needs. So if you look at the clothes that you're wearing, or you go pull out a shirt or any type of piece of clothes out of your closet and you turn it to the inside, you will see that you have a seam that looks like this. This is what the serger is used to create. You can also use your serger to create hems using this same stitch. So you would take the edge of your fabric, you would get this, and then you would do your hem and then stitch 2 lines. That is how you could replicate the hem that is already on your clothes right now. But if you actually wanted a machine that do these 2 lines with this, that's a whole nother machine. We'll talk about that later. But you can do a copycat of it with your serger and your sewing machine. Now you need to learn the main parts of your serger. Starting at the top of your machine, you have this stick here that goes up and down. This is your thread tree. Then you have these. You have 4 of them located at the back. These are your spool pins. This is your pressure foot adjuster. So how much pressure that your pressure foot puts down. This is your left needle tension dial, right needle tension dial, upper looper tension dial, and your lower looper tension dial. Now if we come to the side of your machine, this is your pressure foot lever, your hand wheel, your power button, and your plug socket. Now if you come to this side of your machine, you have your differential feed, your stitch length, your knife lever, and your stitch width. Now if you come to this part of your machine, you have your pressure foot, you have your needles, you have a seam gauge, you have a knife which is up against your pressure foot, and if you remove this piece here, you have a bed extension. I mentioned your differential feed, stitch length, and stitch width. I'm going to go over those briefly, but we're not going to focus on those in this video because right now we're just learning how to use our machines. So I want you guys to leave those settings on the standard settings, which is the numbers with the black box around them. Your differential feed determines how much fabric is being fed up under your needles. So your feed dogs are going like this, and it's bringing your fabric in up under the needles. It's going to determine if a lot of fabric is being fed under your needles or if a little bit of fabric is being fed under your needles. Your stitch length is how far apart or how close your vertical stitches are. So your right needle, your left needle, it's going to determine how far are those stitches from one another. And then your stitch width is going to determine how wide your upper looper thread is. So your upper looper goes like this. To give you a better visual of what I'm talking about, I went to this website and I pulled the picture so that I can show y'all what I'm talking about. Now mind you, the serger, it does do 3 thread or 4 thread, but today we're learning 4 thread, so let's focus on this picture. So you have this red is your left needle, this green here is your right needle. These are the stitches that your stitch length controls. Then you have this gold that is going like this. That is what your stitch width controls. So it controls if this is wide or if it's narrow. And these green stitches, which are going along the edge of the fabric and that are making this loop, those are your lower loop threads. So now that we have all the basics out of the way, you know the parts of the machine, it's time to thread the machine. I have 4 cones of thread right here. I recommend if you're going to be using certain colors a lot with your serger, go ahead and get you some cones because they will last you a very long time. But if you want to save money or it's going to be colors that you're not going to use that much, you can use regular spools of thread the same way. When you're threading a serger, you want to start with your upper looper thread, then your lower looper thread, and then come to your right needle, then your left needle. So always start in, out, in, out. Now when you get ready to thread the machine, you want to pull your thread tree up. Then you have this here, you're going to push it to the right and then down, and that will expose this bottom part. Now remember I said we're going to start in, then out. So I'm going to take my cone of thread, I'm going to place it on my spool pin, then coming from behind, I'm going to bring my thread into this hole. You have your silver plate here, bring your thread under that, pull your tension knob back, bring your threads down and guide it down through here. After you bring your thread down, as you can see, there's a green line that gives you direction of where this thread goes. So now you're going to take your thread and bring it behind this first hook. Then you have these two hooks here. The first one is the only one with a green dot, so you want to bring your thread only under this first one. Then you want to bring it above this hook, so over this hook there. Now you have your upper looper here, so it has this hole right here. I'm going to take my thread and I'm going to put it through that hole. Now your machine will come with tweezers, so you can take your tweezers and finish pulling your thread back. And now you have your upper looper thread threaded. So now we're going to thread our lower looper. Same first steps. Thread onto the spool pin. Bring your thread behind and into this hole. Under the silver plate, bring back your tension knob. Then you're going to bring your thread downward. And as you can see, now you have these blue lines that tell you where your lower thread goes. I'm going to follow the blue line. So we're going to come up under this hook, behind that hook. Then we have the two hooks down here. They both have a blue dot. So we're going to go under both of those hooks. And then we're going to go above this hook. Then you have this here that have the arrows. You want to pull that out all the way to the right. Then you see this silver hook here. You want to place your thread behind there. And then you're going to click this back into the left. You will know when it's in there because you will hear a click. So once you hear that, that's secure. Now you want to thread your lower looper. So it's under your upper looper. Is this right here, and you have that hole. So you're going to take your thread and put it through that hole. Now you want to take your tweezers and finish pulling this thread through, but you want to make sure that thread stay under your upper looper. So I'm going to come above my upper looper and I'm just going to pull my thread back. Then you have your lower looper threaded. Okay, now we're going to thread our right needle. So you're going to start off just like the other ones. Place your thread on the spool pin. Bring your thread from behind into that hole. Under the silver plate, bring back your tension knob. Then you're going to bring your thread down. This time you're going to come over to the left, going under both of these little bridge things, and then up and around this. Then you have this hook in front of your needle, so you're going to bring your thread behind that hook, and then you're going to thread your right needle. Last thing to thread is your left needle, so put your thread on your spool pin, come from behind, thread your thread through that hole, under the silver plate, pull your tension knob back, bring your thread down. Now you're going to come under just this one bridge, up and around this, behind that hook, and then thread your left needle. Now you can close that door back on your machine, and your serger is now threaded. Once you have all your threads threaded, you want to take all of your tails and make sure they are under your presser foot. Then you can leave your presser foot up or you can leave it down, but I always leave mine down because when you're getting ready to sew, you do not have to have the presser foot up necessarily. So I'm going to put mine down, and then you can press on your presser foot. Once you get a chain like this, then you know you've threaded your machine correctly. Earlier I told you about your knife gauge. If it's to the right with this hook showing, that means your knife is engaged and it's going to cut your fabric. If you push it over to the left to where it's just only a piece of fabric, that means it is not going to cut your excess fabric. So now I'm about to show you what that means. So as I showed you before, this is your knife. Now I'm going to have my machine to where it doesn't cut. So I have my presser foot down. If you just put your fabric right here up to it, the feed dogs will automatically grab your fabric. So you can choose to just do this, or you can lift up your presser foot and then put it down. Either way, it's going to catch. So I'm going to show you that it will catch if your presser foot is down. So I'm going to put my fabric up there and I'm going to press. As you can see, my fabric is feeding in. But all my fabric is staying under there and there's no fabric being cut on the side. Now, when you're serging, you're going to see that you have this. Now, don't ever just go ahead and cut your threads right at that line. Keep serging so that you can have a tail. And then cut where you have a long enough tail. So as you can see, I left a long tail on mine. I will show y'all what to do with this later. But now I'm going to show you what it looks like when your serger is cutting your extra fabric, when your knife is engaged. So now I've just clicked to turn my knife on. And now I'm going to put my fabric back under there. And then you will see all this excess fabric is going to get cut off. So you always want to make sure you're paying attention to if your knife is engaged or if it's not engaged, because you may not want this extra fabric cut off. You may need it. So always pay attention to that. Now remember when I told you to leave your tail ends. Now if you're going to be sewing again against this way to where some of your serge edge get cut off, then you can skip this step. But if you're not going to be cutting off this extra fabric with another seam, then you need to leave your tail. And what I like to do is take a pair of scissors and then I'll just cut a little bit off so that I can get all of my threads even length. And then I take a tapestry needle. Now tapestry needle is not like your regular needle. It has a very big eye at the end. So I take my tapestry needle, I weave in my thread ends, and then I come to these stitches right up under here, under these loops. And then you want to go under a couple of those loops. You don't have to go through many. You don't have to go through 4. I just like to go through 4 or 5 of them. And then once you come through those, you're just going to thread your tail end through those. So it'll look like this. And then I just go ahead and cut off the excess. And now you have your tail ends weave back through your stitches. This will keep your stitches from unraveling. If you were to just have your seam edge like this and decided to just cut off your ends, you will see that you have these loose threads. These threads are going to start coming apart over time. As you can see, it's very easy to take apart these threads. That is what's going to happen over time as you wear your garments if you do not weave in your tail ends. So always weave in your tail ends if you do not have another seam coming across that serge edge. Now as you're learning how to use your serger, you want to go ahead and put all of your tensions on 4. That is your most basic tension gauge for your left needle, right needle, upper looper, and lower looper. You can start here and then you would adjust each tension as you're doing your sewing, because tension is broad, okay? Every type of fabric will require a different tension, but 4 all the way across is your most standard. So you will have to play around with your tension according to your projects. So therefore I can't give you an exact tension to use with certain fabrics, because it's always going to depend on what you're using. So now I think it's safe to say that you have learned how to use your serger, and now you know what it's used for. So now you can take some time, practice on your serger, learn how to use it, learn how to get comfortable with it, and go ahead and start making your clothes look professional, because there's no reason for your clothes to look like you did them at home. People shouldn't even know where you did your clothes at. They should think you got it at the store. So go ahead and get the practice in before I crash out. No, I'm just playing. Go ahead and learn.